Hey guys, what's up? My name is Chris. Today we're going to be doing the diffusion and osmosis labs. We're going to start with the osmosis lab because that's the one that's going to take 4 to 5 days to complete. So here we go. Now the lab calls for vinegar, distilled water, and some simple sugar syrup, the clear stuff. And I got my 3 beakers here, all labeled sugar, water, and vinegar. And I started filling the vinegar already before, and I was like, I better get the camera out. So we are at 200 milliliters right now, and I'm gonna continue and fill up the rest. Okay, so we got our 200 milliliters of vinegar here, and we have fresh eggs, so we have chickens here. And I'm gonna go ahead and place this in. Okay. And for the sake of science, I know that these eggs have a little film over them. That's why, like farm fresh eggs, you can leave on the counter longer than you can store-bought eggs. So this one I washed. I washed the film off of it, but I have another one that I did not wash. And I'm gonna cover that in vinegar and see what that does. I got 200 milliliters of vinegar right here as well. So I found out after the experiment that there's actually a difference between green and brown egg shells. I should have done 2 brown eggs or 2 green eggs just so it's an even experiment. Anyways, stay tuned till the end and I'll talk a little bit more on that. And that is step 1 so far. And it says to check back and leave it in 24 hours outside of the fridge because the fridge will slow down the osmosis process. So I'm gonna go on to step 2. It's either that or we will see you tomorrow. This part I was freaking out because I thought the egg was bad because it's floating. Turns out it's just because of the carbon dioxide on the outside of the egg. Anyways, we're gonna go on to the other experiment. Okay, so we are gonna do the diffusion lab now. So the 1 milliliter iodine, 1 teaspoon of cornstarch, plastic bag, 250 beaker, and the distilled water we have all right here. Okay, step 1. Is complete. Step 2, fill beaker about halfway with distilled water and place 1 milliliter of iodine in the beaker. Okay, so here we go. Distilled water. We got the beaker here. It says about halfway. So 250, we're gonna go probably around 125-ish. Let's see what we got. Ish. That looks pretty halfway. And now we also need the 1 milliliter. And I'm gonna use one of the pipettes to measure out the iodine. So let's see here. This is all one-handed. I'm gonna name my vlog the One-Handed Dad. One-Handed Dad. One-Handed Dad Projects. Maybe if I can get this. You know what? I'll be right back. And like magic, the iodine is open. So we're gonna get 1 milliliter, and it looks like that's up to this mark way up over here. And we are gonna add that in the beaker. That is way too much iodine. That's about 1 milliliter right there. Pipettes are kind of cool. Okay, put that over there on my paper towel. Got a little area, cleaning area for used things. Awesome. So step 3 is prepare the starch by mixing 50 milliliters of distilled water with 1 teaspoon of cornstarch. Heat the mixture, microwave about 10 to 15 seconds, and that should work. That'll help the starch dissolve in the water. Okay, so let's see. We need 50 milliliters of distilled water. Okay, here we go. And on that 50. Might have been a little much. No, actually, it's pretty spot on, I think. So now we're gonna do the cornstarch. look pretty good. Ooh, that little lens of the water is coming up, so let's do a little less. It's a little better. Okay. So now it is time. Ooh, I don't like it now. What do you think? That looks pretty spot on. We're gonna get 1 teaspoon of cornstarch now. 1/4 teaspoon, 1/2 teaspoon, teaspoon. Okay. Teaspoon of cornstarch going in. Okay. And I'm going to use a stir, which I'm just going to use a spoon. I'll mix up some of that cornstarch and then I'll put it in the microwave. Honestly, it looks pretty solid, but the experiment calls for 10 to 15 seconds in the microwave, so we're going to go do that right now. No judgments on the dirty microwave. 15 seconds. Okay. There she goes. Gonna nuke it. Cool. Warm it up a little bit. Give it a little stir there. Good. Beauty most. Okay, so the cornstarch is ready. The next step is to place the cornstarch mixture in the sandwich bag. Make sure the sandwich bag is watertight by tying the bag close. I do have a Ziploc sandwich bag, so hopefully that helps. So here we go. We're gonna go ahead and mix in the cornstarch solution. Okay. I want to remove some of the air from the cornstarch really quick. Okay, that looks pretty good. Next step is to place the sandwich bag in the beaker and observe for 15 to 20 minutes. Nothing happens, microwave for 10 to 15 seconds again. So, here we go. All right. I'll see you guys in about 10 to 15 minutes. So I looked it up. The starch forms a helix pattern with its molecules, and the iodine gets trapped in the middle of the helices, and it affects the way that light bounces off of it. And that's why it would change color afterwards. Just hang tight. Also, I hope you don't mind, all the videos are kind of like thin. I don't know what the deal is, but my video editor took all the videos I made and cut off the sides, and I have no idea how to not do that or change it back. But you can see the gist of most of the videos, so hope you guys don't mind that. This is 15 minutes. Not really seeing a whole lot. And the procedure sheet says if nothing observable occurs in 15 minutes, slightly warm the sandwich bag and beaker in the microwave for 10 to 15 seconds. So let's go do that. Nuking it. Do 15 seconds. Okay. Looking good. We're going to come back in 5 more minutes. Oh, shoot. That's all right. Minimal. So I kind of fast forwarded over all of it, including the ending of this little experiment. But you can see through the fast forwarding, it turned a little black. I'll upload a picture of what it looks like now. I kept it in there the whole time during the egg experiment, and it looks pretty cool. Like the whole thing turned black.
What is that?
It's Daddy's experiment.
Science experiment?
Mm-hmm.
What, Mom?
The eggs are floating from all the carbon dioxide.
Ew.
So here we are back on day 2. As you can see, the vinegar has reacted with the eggshells, producing calcium and carbon dioxide. That's where all the bubbles came from, and that's why I thought the egg was bad, because it was floating on top of the vinegar. Because, you know, floating eggs are bad eggs. So day 2, the eggs go into the sugar solution, which is hypertonic, and that will draw water out of the eggs, leaving us with more fluid in the sugar, and that's what we found, as you'll see as I explain day 3. All right, day 3. So this is where we take both eggs and take them out of the sugar solution, or the sugar syrup, and put them both into distilled water for another 24 hours to see what goes on. So I predict that since the distilled water is a hypotonic solution, it should transfer water from the extracellular or the extra egg area and go into the eggs. So the eggs will take on fluid. So right now the eggs are freshly out of the sugar solution, and they're a little plump and little squishy. These eggs are so weird. I've never seen eggs like that. It's kind of cool. And see, this is them fresh out of the sugar solution. So we're just looking at it, and as you can see, it's gained a little bit of water. So because the sugar solution is hypertonic, the water came out of the eggs and back into the sugar syrup. So like through osmosis, it drew fluids out. Yeah. And I'm gonna clean these shortly, get the distilled water here. They are clean. And we're gonna get the distilled water filled back up, 200 milliliters, set them in it, and let them sit for another 24 hours and see where we get after that. All right, here we are on day 4. This is after the 24 hours of sitting in the distilled water. Since the water's hypotonic, the fluid shifted into the eggs, caused them to be a little bit more heavy. That's why they were sunk down. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the solution. So now we're gonna take a look at how much fluid is left, and it looks like we do have a net loss of fluid in the solution. So green egg versus brown egg. Turns out that some breeds produce the green eggs, and the green pigment goes all the way through the shell. So if you look at the shells, on the inside of the shells, it's green on both sides, but the brown eggs will be brown on the outside and a different lighter color on the inside. Because the pigment goes all the way through, it causes mineralization all the way through the egg, making it a little bit more sturdy, a little more dense, and that extends to its membrane, which, you know, because we don't have the shell anymore, so the membrane's a little bit thicker. That's the deal there. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. We'll see you next time. which supported my hypothesis that the fluid would shift into the eggs. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. This was a lot of fun. You know, my family helped me. My wife really helped me because I was working half the days and she really put in a whole bunch of work on this. Thanks to her. So we did keep up with the green versus brown egg, and it turns out that the green egg has a stronger shell due to certain breeds of animal, allowing for denser, thicker shells, causing a difference. The brown eggs did have a lot more osmotic effects. It was very interesting. Anyways, thank you for watching again.